a simple, effective method to grow seedlings from many plants while learning how branches form roots. Perhaps you dream of growing rosemary, lavender, fig, grapevine, lemon, tomato, or even other plants in your garden. By practicing this technique, you can easily multiply your favorite varieties. And the best part is that it works for almost any type of branch if you follow the steps correctly. Let's start with rosemary, since it is one of the easiest and most rewarding herbs to propagate. I begin by cutting several healthy shoots. The number depends on how many new plants I want to produce. Each cutting should ideally measure between 8 and 12 inches in length. The lower section of the cutting, about 4 inches, needs to be cleaned of leaves. This means carefully pulling off the small needles until the stem is bare. That stripped portion is exactly where the new roots will eventually develop. The next step is preparing the rooting environment. For this, I use small plastic bags that I fill with water. Regular rainwater is perfect, but you can also add a rooting hormone to the water if you want to speed up the rooting process. After preparing the bag, I insert the rosemary cutting so that the leafless part is fully immersed in the water. Once positioned, the bag must be closed tightly and secured with a tie to prevent the water from evaporating. I repeat the same procedure for each of the cuttings. After that, the bags with cuttings should be placed in a warm location, but never directly under harsh sunlight, because too much heat can damage the young stems. If the conditions are right, rosemary cuttings typically start to produce roots within 4 to 8 weeks. When the roots become visible and strong enough, I move the young plants into small pots filled with soil. As they continue to grow and develop into small, bushy plants, they can later be transferred into larger containers or even directly into the garden. When it comes to fig seedlings, the method is almost the same, but it might look a little unusual at first. What makes it different is that the branch is not completely removed from the tree during the rooting process. Instead, I carefully make a cut on a selected fig branch that is still attached to the tree. Then, just as with rosemary, I prepare a bag with water, place it around the wounded part of the branch, and secure it firmly with a tie. I left this setup for less than 4 weeks, and the result was amazing. In my observation, fig branches seem to develop roots even faster than rosemary. After sufficient roots formed, I removed the bag and completely cut off the rooted branch from the tree. By doing this, you can quickly obtain new fig seedlings. These young plants can later be sold, gifted to friends and family, or simply planted in your own garden to expand your collection. Now let's move on to grapevine cuttings. In this case, I decided not to use bags at all. Instead, I created simple containers using transparent plastic cups, which I then filled with water. I placed the grapevine cuttings inside, making sure that the lower sections were submerged. Over time, roots began to appear. This process seemed to take a little longer than it did with rosemary or fig, but the results were still excellent. When the roots became strong, I transplanted the young grapevine seedlings outdoors. Now, I will patiently wait to discover exactly what type of grapes these new plants will produce. Lemon cuttings can also be rooted with this same method. Finally, let's end with the example of tomato cuttings. Tomato is by far one of the most popular plants on this channel. As many gardeners already know, small branches that appear in the axils between the main stem and the side branches are usually removed during regular tomato pruning. Normally, these side shoots are discarded, but they can actually be put to good use. Instead of throwing them away, you can place these shoots into a container filled with water. Be sure that a good portion of the stem is submerged. The section in contact with water will very quickly begin to develop roots, often in as little as 1 or 2 weeks. Using this incredibly simple method, you can obtain new tomato seedlings without any extra cost. These young plants can be transplanted directly into the soil, making them perfect for late-season tomato plantings. By propagating tomatoes in this way, you not only save money, but also make the most of every single plant. And finally, a small reminder. The easiest way to support my work is by engaging with the video. Please take a moment to click the like button, then follow the channel, tap the bell icon, and confirm it so you don't miss future updates. Your support truly means a lot to me, and I thank you sincerely for being part of this journey.